Okay, pause. We're all looking at the screen now. They fucking hear everything through the light bulbs, eh, by the way? Conspiracy theory, eh? I could do that. I could use a nanobio fucking camera filament and put in light bulbs and film them. I could do that. If I could think it, you better hope nobody's got the budget. Alright, so here you go. What is this? This is the picture of the Earth. I like the first video. That was very great. The video just before there, it's like, what was that about, that video? Was it? That was about brainwashing. How do you brainwash? Well, you repeat it. You repeat the same thing over and over again. You know if somebody's resisting the concept? If you keep fucking repeating it, after 6 times, they'll incorporate it in their brain. They may not agree with it, but repeat it another 1,000 times, they'll start saying it. I could start a campaign called Wah-ta-ta-ta for like fucking $4 billion this week. And in like 24 hours through Twitter, everybody could be walking around going Wah-ta-ta-ta, Wah-ta-ta-ta. Okay, so here's the picture of the Earth from space. There it is. Since you were a kid, you've seen this image. But you've never seen it from that point of view. You've never seen that with your eyes from that scale of a model, that point of view, from outside of the planet's surface. But your brain has three-dimensionalized, oh yeah, that's the Earth. How? Through repetition. Next image. How do we get to this point of the image? This is fucking funny. I think this is funny. Next image. Well, here's the first image that sold the whole thing. As you can see, that's clearly the universe. I mean, that's clearly the universe. I swear to God. I mean, there's the sun. I mean, I could recognize that thing. It's a bullseye. It's like a planet. It's an egg. Whatever. But there you go. You got each rung, the whole thing. 1482. This is when they came up with this idea. We are on that thing. It's a ball. Hey, we should go to the North and the South Pole. We didn't do it yet. It's a fucking ball. Hey, nobody's even like jumped up high enough to see if it is a ball. You can't do that. We don't have planes yet. It's a ball. You know what? We adopted this whole model like 400 or 500 years before the airplane. 400 years before the airplane, pretty much. It was like beginning of the 1900s. They went to the North Pole in the 1900s. This is 1482. Nobody went to the top of the globe, to the bottom, or flew up, or built a skyscraper. That's it. It's been a decade since like Columbus hit America. That's it. You had Spinoza, Leibniz. Everybody was fighting to say what the fuck we were on, how much land there really was. Real estate, right? Real estate. The only commodity that appreciates besides art. Right? These are the only things that appreciate. Everything's depreciating except those two. It's funny how these two are going to meet and what I'm going to talk about. Next image. It's funny that we said that this is what we're in right now. This is what we're on before any instrument approved. Until pause. Can you do it? It's funny. Back in the 60s when they went to the moon, this is the first time we actually had like an instrument of flight to actually go high enough to actually fucking check out if what we agreed to 500 years ago was real. So if they were wrong after 500 years, the question is, would they tell you? University institutions, physics, the Royal Society in London, that's of course NASA, Newtonian physics, why objects move on a ball spinning 1,000 miles an hour while it's going 26,000 miles around the sun. It's basically the model we accepted right now. I don't feel it's spinning 1,000 miles an hour right now. Oh, that's because of gravity. Oh yeah, gravity? What's that? That's the thing you can't feel. Oh yeah, can you prove that in an equation? Yeah, I can prove that in an equation. It took Newton like a book 3 times thicker than the Bible, and he still couldn't finish his equation on how to prove gravity. He would try to prove gravity when you read Newton's book of Principia through like Stephen Hawking, or if you even find the original book, he would prove by saying that everything started with the word if. If you fucking take Newton's book of, like, if the Earth is a ball, and objects are being thrown this way, blah, 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 you know, that means that we're spinning at this amount of velocity, and you can't feel it, and why the objects don't go flying off into the universe is because of gravity, because of a vacuum system of air pressure. I mean, he went into hyperbole, into ifs. I mean, if you were to highlight every time the word if came up in Newton's book of physics, you could fucking use it as a flashlight in a dark room, man. It's like if you fucking get out of the cave with the amount of times if is highlighted in his fucking book on physics. It's like if is every... Here's like a perfect example of them landing on the moon. I mean, it's proof right there. This is an official NASA photo of the first Apollo 11 lunar module landing on the moon. I mean, it's right there. This is proof, man. It's the picture's right there. It's landing on the moon. But the only problem I have with this picture is that it's taken from the moon. I don't know what the big deal was with being the first guy on the moon. It seems the camera crew was already there. The fucking tripod. Camera A, B, C. You know, back in the 60s, I mean, I know people who believe they saw the landing on the moon because they heard it on the radio. Don't get in here, they're on the moon, I can hear the dust. My God, I can hear him walk. He's walking slow. There's zero gravity up there. Jesus, they're on there now. They're on there now. I could just see a guy in a sound studio just taking fucking, like a bag of salt going, landing on the wooden floor and just going, oh my God, they're there. They're on it right now. Ethel, get in here. Like, how would you know? There was no independent telescope to even, like, say they went to the moon. The only telescopes that I could actually film it were NASA telescopes. Yeah, according to the people who landed on the moon, they landed on the moon. Nobody else could fucking check it out. So there it is. That's a fucking photo. There it is landing for the first time, but how? How? Next photo. It's funny how NASA gives us these little pictures, eh? Every week there's a little NASA photo, what they're up to, just to keep you fucking nursing off the teat or whatever. This is an amazing monumental sort of feat of space exploration. This is the Galileo satellite. Full authentic NASA imagery of the Galileo satellite. Must have cost like $1 trillion for this fucking operation. Very expensive. This is the Galileo satellite. They never knew it would go that far and reach Jupiter. You know, they didn't know. It's the first time anything goes that far. It managed to get there. There's Jupiter. There's one of its moons. I mean, it's clearly lining up to take some really good photos of Jupiter. Immediately followed by a camera satellite. Perfectly composing the whole shot out in outer space. Amazing, eh? What the cameras can do when they fly. It's into outer space, a place we've never been to. That's amazing. Look at that. That's perfect. That's like the photo of the year, if you ask me. For a fucking satellite to be able to, like, you know, like wake up in outer space, we didn't even know we could do that. You know, and with, unbelievable. I give it to NASA. Let's go to another photo here. Another photo. This is good too. Oh, let's zoom in. I love that iMovie sort of effect. I'm really in the gas. But how am I supposed to go? Yeah, that's the Earth. From there, that point of view I've never seen. And it's funny when you click on Google Images, photo of the Earth, keep going. Because this is realistic. But you'll see 40 pages on Google. But it's always the same fucking photo. It's the same photo. They just changed the contrast. Check it out, keep going. Oh yeah, boom, 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 40 pages. Look closely. It's always the same. Oh, what is that? I guess this is a photo of the Hubble telescope taking a picture of itself. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's an authentic photo of the Hubble telescope out there doing its job. Isn't that amazing how they could take a photo of the thing taking photos? Out in outer space. Unbelievable. You know, they never crossed Antarctica, but let's go to the moon and take pictures of shit out in space. That's fucking unbelievable. You know, the instruments won't work in Antarctica. It's too fucking cold, but hey, let's go somewhere where we don't know the instruments will work. That's unbelievable. I can't, it just boggles my mind how they do this stuff. All right, next one, solar powered, by the way. Solar powered. Look at that. Environmental. Environmental in outer space. Okay. That's my only fucking fan right there. Naomi. That's it. There you go. There you go. There's what you believe. That's it. That's it. That point of view you've never seen. It's fucking funny, huh? I think it's funny. You've never seen that, but everybody goes, yeah, il prend ça pour acquis. Ah oui, c'est ça. L'affaire que j'ai jamais vue. It's funny, eh? You should think about these things, right? I heard that, you know, if you want to like program a human mind, what you do is you just repeat images to a young child while the brain is forming.
Well, literally.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, you know, the kid fucking grows up and you've wired the kid. It's fucking mind control. It's great. But it's an example. Hey, I could be wrong. There could have been a camera rocket that got there on the moon, set up, pulled out like a lens, and then filmed it. And processed 35mm black and white film in an atmosphere. We don't know if cameras will work. All right, so anyways, next photo. Hey, it's possible. Those guys are so ahead. They don't tell us, right? There you go again. Same fucking thing, same cloud patterns, always the same cloud patterns. Ooh, so many images of the Earth. No, it's the same one. It's Africa. Okay, I want to test you guys. Some of you guys are like, you're not convinced yet. That's the Earth, man. Don't fuck with that shit. So let's do a little test on perception. I'm going to show you a couple of images here, and then you tell me which one of the following images on the screen is an image of a painting painted by hand that looks real, or is an image taken by a camera of something that actually exists. So image or photo, painting or photo. Let's try this. So first image here. Applause. How many people think that this is a painting? Please, come on. Give yourselves credit. It's okay, you can jump in, take a decision. By applause, how many people think this is a photo? I will say that that's real. That's good for you. You're horribly wrong. That is a painting. That's obviously a painting, right? I mean, look at this fucking Sunday painting. Bad. It's like Bob Ross did it. And he was on acid. It was like a nice little mountain. And some trees and some fluffy bushes. Fluffy bushes. Fluffy bushes. That's the dirtiest part of my show. All right, next. How many people think this is a painting? By applause. Come on, you can do this. You can use your eyes. By applause. How many people think this is a photo? But of what? This is a painting. Those who said it's a painting, you're right. Of what would that be if that was a fucking photo? Okay, by applause, how many people think this is a painting? By applause, how many people think this is a photo? It's a painting. I did it. Okay, here, by applause. This is a bit technical here. How many people think that this is a painting? By applause. How many people, by applause, think this is a photo of toys that are painted? This is a painting of toys that are painted. Cesar Santander, European artist, high realist. How many people think this is a painting? By applause. Okay, by applause, how many people think this is a photo? Those said it's a photo, you're close. All right. Okay, by applause, how many people think this is a painting? How many think this is a photo? This is a painting. I did it. I fucking did that. Money on steroids. No, that's a fucking. I swear to God. Next. So I know what I'm talking about. This is an official NASA photo of the North Pole. Go back. What is that? Is that you? Or is that the? Okay, go back to the other one. Go back to the other one. Go back to the other one. Okay, this is an official. Sorry to give you shit there, Dan. You're doing a great job. But this is an official. This is an authentic. Apparently from NASA. This is an authentic NASA photo of the Arctic, the North Pole. By applause, how many people think that this is a painting? By applause, how many people think this is bullshit? There we go. That's Europe. The sun's hitting it. Applause. You think that's a photo? Well, satellite imagery, man. There's infrared and shit. All right. Next image. This is Olilapia. Next image. This is Olilapia without an Adobe Photoshop shading. And this is the texture that I cut out with a circle to create the fake fucking moon called Olilapia. Are you telling me that we just gotta take black construction paper, cut out a circle, put it on fucking peanut butter and jam spills, and say, hey, it's Ipapopo? And you fucking swallow that shit every day? It's funny, I do this today because you saw the Google today, they had the Hubble telescope. It looked like a kid's drawing. Did you fucking see that today? That's why I'm doing this today. So this is the next one. You can go to the next one. That's it. I mean, I just take out, I say it's not a circle, it's not a sphere. Right away, what do you have in your brain? Well, you think it's flat and there's water falling off into the fucking outer space like Bugs Bunny? So either you have a square or a circle in your head. It's either Coke or Pepsi with the shape of the planet. What if it's bigger? What if there's more land that they're hiding from? This is a great painting. It's supposed to be Jupiter. It's funny, any telescope you try to get, a high-powered digital telescope, you won't see this. You won't go, oh wow, it's exactly, they'll show you a little light. You'll never see this. This is like you gotta get the big fucking telescopes, and then if you shoot at fucking Jupiter, I've talked to these guys, these astronomers, and they're like, oh man, no, it takes like, how long does it take to get the photo after you point it at Jupiter? It takes about 2 years. They just like, we just point it, we put it in our quadrants and our coordinates, and we don't get the image until 2 years. And it took me 2 years to even access that telescope. I was like, oh my god, that is like 5 years down the tube, man. Like, for all you know, it's like, that's it. I mean, I think this is just paint spilt and bleeding into itself. Nice little images that they make at Area 51. But they make you think it's saucers. Area 51's all these spaceships. They got aliens down there, man. They're landing on this planet. Alright. Oh, this is an actual... Okay, so that one was Jupiter. This is Io, the moon of Jupiter. Am I lying? By applause. By applause. Am I lying? Is this like... Did I make this moon up? This planet up? Did I make this... Is this a homemade moon? By applause? Okay, by applause if you think this is really Io, the distant moon of Venus. No. This is a fucking actual moon, Jupiter, called Io, NASA. I think it's just a close-up on bad acne. You know, and then they just ran it through like a saturation yellow filter on Adobe. You know what I'm saying? That's not an Adobe crowd. Do you remember when Pluto was a planet? Yeah. What happened to that shit? We were at 9 planets, and now we're at 8? Like, and everybody's like, huh, okay, we were off on our solar system. We're not 9 planets, we're 8. That's fucked up. I'm sorry. I noticed that. Everybody else went back to bed. You know, like we're saying, it's 9 planets going around the sun. And then suddenly, like in the year 2000, what? 7, 8? After fucking Y2K, we fucked up. Pluto's not a planet. That's, no. You don't fuck up on planets. You can't fucking tell me for 500 years that there's 9 fucking planets and then just try to slip it in the Yahoo front page. We discovered Pluto's too small to be a planet. Sorry, we fucked up. There's only 8. Like, come on, you can't just do that and I go, and suck my thumb and, you know, eat your fucking shit paddle. There's no fucking way. What about the guy who works at NASA and he just studied Pluto? That's all he fucking learned. He went to university, this poor sucker. What's he doing now? He's fucking on the street, penniless. There's nothing to do. He just studied one fucking planet. You know how they become specific in their physics and they study a planet from a picture they've never fucking seen? They're like, I'm an expert on Jupiter, man. No, I know Mercury inside out. Fucking find out the news. It's like, what are you doing here, man? Well, I came in for work. Dude, didn't you hear the news? What? Pluto's not a planet, man. You were off, man. You were fucking way off. It's a moon. You screwed up. It's too small. For the light emissions were big enough to be called a planet. Because apparently, that light in the sky, they were saying, was that picture they've been feeding you as Pluto. Suddenly one day, diminished rapidly. So they had to come up with something real fucking quick, because that thing they fucking pointed at the sky, that's Pluto. That's moving around. It's like, oh, suddenly one day everybody's like, hey, what happened to the light on Pluto? It's like, did that bulb go out? And then there was a big debate. Well, we can't decide whether it's a planet based on how much light we see. This is ridiculous. You got to give us more to work on, like a rocket that sends us there to check out to see if it's big enough to be a fucking planet. You know, like. Nobody's going after this shit. They're just taking NASA. I mean, one day NASA could come out and say something on fucking Yahoo, and we'd all be like repeating it. Like we'd just be like, yeah, it's like we found a distant planet off the distant moon Io of Jupiter, and I'd be like, wait a minute, are you saying there'd be a bunch of fucking Star Trek physics nerds at NASA going, wait a minute, are you saying that moons can have their own planets? That's fucking crazy. You saying planets can revolve around moons now? Oh my God, planets can revolve around moons, and he'd be flipping out. Oh, maybe we can. Moons have planets too, man. It just keeps going. This is a moon they discovered off of Mars. We say Opipapa, and if you do a close-up on it, you see all the craters and the texture of the moon on my shirt. There it is. It's just that. It's just a bunch of paint. Oh, Next image. Next image. I'm having too much fun up here. You guys should fucking join me. All right, so there you go again. I mean, is this a painting or is this a cartoon? Fucking challenging the whole thing, eh? It's like, wait a minute, you're saying that's a drawing? How are you gonna know? Next image. Do we got another one after this? Oh, this is amazing. Slow it. Pause it. Pause it. This is unbelievable because they got a really distant shot into the quasar. What is it? The Sirius quadrant. It's like a galaxy, a couple galaxies over to the left. Unbelievable stuff. They got some amazing photos of supernovas. They're suns, basically, that are actually exploding or being created. And this, they've never seen this before. This many suns actually colliding and exploding in their creation process all at the same time. And they actually came up with a new term for it. It's a collisionary supernova. Unbelievable that they actually caught this. If you get a zoom in on this, there's a zoom in that Hubble did on this. These are actual fucking suns being formed. Unbelievable. Look at this. All these fucking suns. Can we get another? Keep going. And they're being formed on a Christmas tree. Next one. Unbelievable. How many? Oh, this is amazing. We just went to Mars. Hey, big round of applause, man, for the Americans going to Mars. And this is the official image of them landing there. It's fucking funny. It's like, isn't it amazing how they were landing there and they already had an airbrush artist with his easel set up to paint it land that quick. It's like unbelievable. How many people think this is real? This is the official landing. Oh, then they got another one with a metal sort of pipe and sand in black and white. That's proof. They were there, man. They're landing on the sand. Check it out. That's it. There you go. Some more images. This is what they're doing on Mars right now. Moving around with their little rover. That's a real photo. Look at that. This is another. This is another. I swear to God, they're on Mars right now. Look at that. This thing's moving around. I don't even know what it does. It's like a weird sort of sample collector. It's a spider. It's a spider sampler. It's a spider sampler. Sand sampler. It's a sand sampler. They call it.
It's getting spice.
It's getting spices from Mars. Yeah. Go to the next one. They're on Mars. That's unbelievable. Big round of applause for the Americans finally accomplishing something. That's amazing. And this is it. This is what, pause right here. This is what's amazing. I was trying to figure out, like, they brag about, like, at what distance the Hubble telescope can, like, get a picture of space. And I want to know what was the furthest this thing could, like, get a picture of our universe, right? And this is it. It's, is that 14 billion? It's 14 billion. 14 billion light years, which is unbelievable if you know light years. And I know this is a light year crowd. I could tell, like, you. But right, 14 billion light years. That's unbelievable that a camera would get that distance. The only problem is that I never measure distance in time. I've never gone up to somebody and said, like, how tall are you? Oh, I'm 42 years old. That's the only problem here is they bamboozle you. First with the whole concept of, like, what's the furthest distance? Oh, that's 14 billion light years. Okay, in kilometers? Oh man, that's difficult. I mean, we're talking light years. This is really fucking far, and we're at 14 billion of them. Do you want to know how much one light year is? And so then I did the research. One light year out of the 14 billion light years is, I don't even think we have a fucking name for this number, do we? That's what is that? That's we got a billion here, and that's like 10 trillion? 10 trillion kilometers is one light year. This is where the math becomes intimidating. You just give up and you go, you're right, NASA. You've got so many fucking zeros. I wish I could get a fucking paid a check like that. That's fucking, what is this, the Matrix? What am I looking at here? I'm like, where's Neo? You know, like, you want the red pill or the blue pill? You know, like, what is this? Like, and then this is what I times it. So I 14 billion times 10 trillion fucking kilometers fucking gives me, you just give up. You're like,